the master go pay. Now down to the little children, from the time they born, they join life great movie. But some of we fathers, my friend, through some wicked women, never saw our baby. Although abortion is just an act, religions I don't like that part at all. Plenty women go born when the curtain falls. This place has some scenes that I just go off on. The acting is greater than on Broadway. Not even on the movie screens. You just see people perform like Trinidadians are talking about and how they could play. Trinidad, as we all know, chief rule is calypso. Then featuring beating pan and dancing limbo.
Yes indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry. East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago. And wherever you are, the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. This is, yes, the Corridor Transformation. Your host, well, I should say double host, of course, Lennox Smith, and of course, my good friend. I want to say my good friend because I love him to introduce himself. So, of course, that being as it may, the fact of the matter is that it is the first work day of the new week in the month of May. Let us get that straight. And of course, it's the 12th day of the month of May. So time is moving along, and we too have to, of course, correspond or respond to, of course, the change in time. What is the change in time? The fact that Trinidad and Tobago was hit with a political tsunami of a tectonic nature. And therefore, of course, we as patriots, as persons who love our country, who of course are dedicated and committed, we must respond appropriately. So it will not be surprising to you that already, insofar as the love part of the coalition of interests, with of course the UNC led by Kamala Persad-Bissessar, having of course gained victory on the 28th of April, just a couple of weeks ago. We have already, of course, started. We have set up, of course, what we call employment and human resource center. Remember the name, Employment and Human Resource Center. So it is much more than an employment agency, in other words. It is about, of course, looking at the welfare aspect as people wait, for example, to get employment. They must eat, they must live, they must, of course, engage in all human activities that is, of course, biologically prescribed. And so, what we have done in terms of arriving at that name, resource center, is to, of course, look at accessing resources coming from the Ministry of Social Development, whether it be temporary food cards, for example, whether it be, of course, other opportunities, because we will have young men and women who may want to engage in sporting activities. It means that the Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs will also have to be, of necessity, be engaged. You see, we have to hit the ground running. And of course, where there are low-hanging fruits, we will of course do what is required. Not to pick, not to be parasitic, but to nurture and to of course expand and to of course meet that which are the needs of the people. But low-hanging fruits here means that of course if it's just to write a letter, if it's just of course to follow up on someone who may have an application in for a very long time as far as their pension is concerned. They may have applied, of course, to the self-help division of whatever ministry that falls under. We are yet to of course, extrapolate and to, of course, get all of the information, because it is, of course, we are in the nascent stage of the of the rolling out of these services. But at least there are people who can come, and we have on roll. I will ask, of course, those who are in the center right now to, of course, pass me that list. So you will see, of course, the list. We have color-coded them. So blue, for example, will be potential employers. And then we have another color, green, of course. You won't see it on the screen because our background is green. But at least you will get an appreciation as we verify and we certify. But I see that we already have a caller, even though, of course, I have not made my formal, of course, salutations or introductions. But let's go straight to the line. A pleasant good night, welcome.
Hello, you on tonight?
Hello?
Yeah, this is San Fernando.
Yes, San Fernando. Go ahead, San Fernando.
I'm not getting through to the on YouTube.
YouTube, all right. It's much more easier now. Just log on to Corridor Transformation or the Corridor Transformation. Full stop. Don't do anything else, and that should take you there.
All right, okay.
All right, good. On YouTube, of course, on Facebook, you just log on to Alfred John. So tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell, of course, an interested party, tell, of course, all and sundry across Trinidad and Tobago, across the globe, and, of course, across the region as well. But let's get formal now. A pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, and indeed, of course, as Valentino would say, life is a stage. And of course, we are simply the actors, as we, of course, play our respective role within, of course, our biological limitations to be, of course, here. And of course, the Bible tells us 3 scores and 1, I believe it is. Well, that is biologically prescribed. Yes, indeed, of course, welcome back. Life is a stage. And I want, of course, to begin tonight's program with this.
My family and
I thought I would start with this clip because, of course, the amount of hogwash, the amount of illusionary, what I consider to be platitudinous verbalization, a design, of course, to hoodwink and deceive the vulnerable. But we have always said on this program that the devil has its own followers. So clearly, I am making this statement categorically and without fear of contradiction. That, of course, the election cycle is 5 years. So they could talk how much they want. But of course, young Marcel, I suppose, he's a neophyte. Johnny come lately. And addendum, of course, to the to what the Balize House would see as someone to manipulate and to exploit. Because I don't think he will believe that it is on his own volition, whether it be in the form of illusionary popularity or indeed whether or not he is so what I consider to be accepted by the Laventille population. And I'm talking here in the context of the Laventille West constituency, that he could be so naive to believe that somehow he can, of course, turn things around in favor of the PNM moving forward. But of course, we will wait and see. But the point I am making here is that the level of naivety, the level of hogwash, the level of diatribe, the level of platitudinous superficiality is one that, of course, tells you that they believe that somehow in this anachronistic way they living in the past, that he believed that somehow he is a Maurice Marshall, or that the circumstances of Maurice Marshall, Muriel Donowa McDavidson, and that of Patrick Manning is equal to today. No, you see, in those days, the UNC was considered to be taboo, was considered to be persona non grata, was considered to be, of course, very difficult to even have a foothold. And a person, of course, wearing a UNC jersey in those days, are talking about the 1980s, the early and the mid, and of course, expanded 1980s. It would have been difficult for Pandey, great as he was, to, of course, have a foothold in Laventille. Today, it's a different story. And therefore, the adaptability that is required clearly is not what to tell people that the PNM is like, of course, undying or vegetation that cannot die. I think it is foolish, it is neophytic, it is nincompoopish, and of course does not equate to what the reality is in Trinidad and Tobago as far as politics is concerned and the fortunes of the UNC is concerned. Let us, of course, look at that video from a perspective where you can see it. I'm going to bring it to the front of us so you can see it better, and then you will have a better appreciation as to what I'm talking about. Because I think it's important, because somehow they believe that they could just talk and say that the PNM will come back. It has done so before. Yes, so too the UNC. Let me repeat, so too the UNC. But let us of course take a look at, of course, what I consider to be the illusion, and there is a psychological term that is used. Let me see if I can gather my thoughts together on that one. Of course, it is one that talks about spontaneous misrepresentation of reality. It is called, of course, manic depressive psychosis. Let me repeat, manic depressive psychosis, which of course is someone who is outside of the realm of reality in totality, spontaneously. And I suppose they have to say something to, of course, let's say, have sycophants, apologists, and so on accept the fact that the PNM was badly beaten, and of course relegated to second place, and in the next stage, of course, is relegated to the dustbin of political history. Let's look at that, and then, of course, we will return. Let's hear this wishful thinker.
But I want to say here strong as the youngest member of Parliament going to Parliament comes soon. I want to say here tonight from Laventille West that Laventille West will carry it back to government. Laventille West will be and I want to say say my family and team children that will like the band, no matter how they do. Yeah. We might say enough, we might try to say enough people. Some of us might want to say, but I want to say here strong as the youngest member of party. But I'm trusting when I say my family and team children that will like the band, no matter how they do. Yeah. We might say enough, we might try to say enough people. Some of us might want to say, but I want to say here strong as the youngest member of parliament holding a parliament comes soon. I want to say here tonight from Laventille West that Laventille West will carry it back to government. Laventille West and I want to say but I'm trusting when I say my family and team like the band, no matter how they do. We might say enough, we might try to say enough people. Some of us might want to say, but I want to say here strong as the youngest member of party.
Everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change.
Yes indeed, yes indeed. And of course, if one is to take that braggadocio, because that is what it is, that superficial, superfluous disposition of young Marcel, a total neophyte, a total, of course, freshwater, freshman, if you want to call it that, in the politics, to make such a bold statement, I think, of course, is one that is a suit too big for him in terms of the statement. But I suppose he understands that it's only 13 seats that the PNM have. But more significantly, I thought he would have understood the tribulation that Hines went through. He himself, of course, being a resident of the Betham, is the first man I know did better than Jesus Christ. I'm talking about Hines. Jesus Christ walked on water, but Hines run on water. He did better than Jesus Christ. And he was engaged, of course, in both aerodynamic and hydrodynamic, meaning that he flying through the air and at the same time moving through water like a submarine. But he makes that statement not understanding what he has done. But let me tell you what I expect. If it was me, and I'm to make a statement like that, I would be, of course, looking at numbers like this. What is this? Well, let me just read the headings for you so you understand. You cannot just be making a statement about the PNM and that, of course, it will come back, and not, of course, saying what are the mechanisms or what are the programs or what are the initiatives or what are the elements that will, of course, ameliorate or improve the circumstances of the Laventille West in this case in order to justify a broad categorical statement like that. You have to be a nincompoop or you have to be a freshman like, of course, a young Marcel. Is a young man that I know, but I think that he has attached his political currency or his political potential to the wrong party at this point in time, and therefore from that perspective, we have to depart, because this is about the livelihood and the improvement and the advancement of our community. And as I've always said, love is Laventille outreach for vertical enrichment, and it means all of the Laventille, Laventille East, Laventille West, and of course Port au Prince South, that has the same socio-economic and psycho-cultural challenges and dynamics that are common to these communities. And thus, we develop, of course, a political machinery to capture power in order, of course, to deliver to the people, not in the superficial and platitudinous way that, of course, clearly he has not learned from the experience of Heinz. So let me just tell you that this one, of course, is employment agency listing. So we have, and all of these are filled. Employment agency listing. And we have, of course, put together a cadre in blue, a cadre of businesses or employers potential. And today, of course, we had a visit to at least 2 potential employees, small, but will plug a hole. It may be temporary as well. But just imagine, if that did not exist, then it means nothing, no potential for money or earning money. So we thank God for small mercies. The point I am making here that I would have expected Marcel to be talking this kind of talk, that who are the people that are in close proximity, for example, where he is there, just north of the priority bus route. There are a line of businesses, Angostura, citrus growers, not citrus growers, coconut growers, because citrus growers has gone out of business, but it once was, and a number of other small businesses, TSTT, etc., along that stretch, the northern side of the priority bus route. I would have been talking, I would have been saying that I will go and at least talk to these people so as to begin the process of getting employment opportunity, because one of the greatest difficulty is employment, particularly for our young people, and the fact that you want indirectly or directly to address the question of their young and restless nature, whether it be through gang, whether it be borderline issues, etc. That is what I thought he would have spoken simultaneously with, of course, the political rhetoric of course, the Balizé cannot be buried and die, and of course it will come back, and he and Lavatil West will be, of course, the leader in that process. Hog wash. So that is, of course, this is a listing of businesses already. Less than 3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks. We have started to work. And of course, we have another one. This has to do with, of course, those persons who are registered for employment. Quite a large number of persons, over 200 of them already. And I'm talking about in the George Street, Nelson Street, and environs areas. Some people come from far as, of course, Mova and beyond. But the fact is that if we have the opportunity, the people have the skills, and we can match, of course, business and employers with, of course, those persons who are seeking employment. And this is the one that doesn't have, of course, we wouldn't be able to see it nicely because of the green, but it is green. And this has to do with community assistance. What we're talking about? Food card. We're talking about persons who may be in need of assistance to apply for public assistance. We are talking about persons who may be or have applied for their pension, but it's taken a very long time. We've had a number of them, and we have a team of persons that will be focusing based on the information that they would have given us. We will then, of course, inquire from the various offices of the social welfare offices, whether it's Tonopuna, whether it's Aranguez, and whether it's Port of Spain. And they have moved, of course, from Oxford Street, is it? Oxford Street, yes. Prince Street. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yeah. Duke Street, in fact. They moved from Duke Street to Henry Street. Yeah, we did our homework. So we know. So, I know where they were, and I know where they are at this point in time. And, of course, we have quite a long list of them as well. I disclose that to you so you would understand that the politics of Trinidad and Tobago today has long moved beyond the liking or the preference or the cultural propensity to vote for a particular party, particularly the PNM, in this case on the East-West Corridor, based on liking. No, that is why That is why Heinz had to run out of the beatum under some serious dirty water by the young people. And before if it was me, I would have gone back and apologized to those youths. You know, he was so arrogant. He felt that he is the Lord of Lords and that he is the be it all of that area in terms of dominance. You know, he took them to court instead, rather than going back there and apologize, because he ought to have seen that as a political statement and a rejection of the arrogance and contempt that he had for the people. And the same master, I believe he was, of course, I think, head or chairman or some role in the village council then, went and apologized on behalf of the community. But of course, we didn't know then that he was doing that apology because he is politically attached to the PNM. We didn't know that. Because clearly, if he was concerned about the community, he would have gone to those young men and say, yes, wise an apology may be appropriate in terms of your conduct. But he ought to have communicated to Heinz that is a political statement that the community made, and that therefore, while of course it is wrong to throw dirty water on him, at least he should do something about it. If it was me, I could have never find myself in that situation. Guess what? I know the place flood out. I know the people would have lost their life earnings. I'm talking about chairs, their utensils, their kitchen appliances and so on. And of course their food, flour, rice, etc. basics would have of course been inundated by the floods that took a charge or inundated the Beatum at that time. Then I would have minimum fine at least $1,000 and make up about several $200 hampers and full my car and go up there and start to distribute one time for immediate relief. And you believe how the people will be welcoming to see that some practical, at least, measure would have been taken by their parliamentary representative to ease their plight, because he understands. But you gone up there with your two long hands, suggesting that the Lord has reached, and are coming here to hear what all you're going through. To hear what all you're going through, and bring nothing, empty hand, but they run him out. Dirty water. I'm looking for the video now. But of course, that is enough in terms of my introduction. I thought it was important to treat with that matter, because I want to show the level of naivety, stupidity, and of course, an obsolete or Jurassic approach to looking to bring the PNM back to the stage of getting into government. No 26 seats in all your tail. 1, 2, the highest that at the best time that Rowley could have mustered up 23 seats. So we know that is an exercise in futility. But let me, of course, introduce my colleague and his opening remarks immediately. Pleasant good night, my friend. Do the introduction as per usual, and of course we will move further into the program.
Good night to my leader, Kamala Prasad. Good night to my leader. Let
me just say, I just said that I do not think the fans should be a little more on us, because tonight I find us sweating tonight already. This one on this side. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And sorry about that, people. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, and to everybody who listening to this program and who keeping tracks about what's going on the street and politics-wise, pleasant good night to you all. But what I want to say this. PNM dead and gone. PNM dead and gone. And
bring the mic to China, man. I know you have the experience, man. Go ahead.
And by now, them wish only bad things they do. You believe you could sit on the right side of the devil, The devil is a war them to sit down by.
But and trust me, man,
Especially this one who's speaking. The devil is a war them at the right side of he. They're dead and gone. No matter what bad they do out here, and they're feeling now, they're doing bad, and they're doing bad to please you. You must see if you can sit down on the right side of the devil. The devil won't war you. The devil don't war you no way by he. So all is good out here to do good. Like my good colleague and the party love, you see the good we doing. We here trying to see we could make people in Laventille and whoever we can help still have a hope in society by we open our arms to see if we can get jobs to them. So when you look at us, in the lower right side, people will say all kind of thing about us. We ain't good, we this, we that. But watch what we doing. Who have eyes to see will see. Watch what we doing. We still looking to have people have hope. Cause since PNM come out of power, the place calm. Everybody wants to know what's going on. Is the evil soul leaving us? The evil ones leaving out the wherever the sail, wherever zombie, wherever they do, and leaving the country. Trinidad and Tobago. The place calm. Even in tongue. You want to know what's going on. How the place so calm, boy? Place still. Yes, it had a little hiccup and a little ups and downs. We know it's only the law can say about that. But still, the place calm and nice. People have a little relief. Miss Kamala in control and Miss Kamala going and do something good. People still feeling a little relaxed. You must. And you have to be observant. I say who have eyes to see, will see. Who don't have eyes to see, will see. So I believe there's an opening for love, wherever we do it on our side here. And my leader, Lennox, and the staff who are around us, we're not getting paid, but we're still doing something. We are volunteering to do something better than some of them who say they can do. And we still asking and open up our arms to any agency or anybody who want to go through our venture by helping us in any way. When you help us, you help somebody out there who needs to put food on the table. When you help us, you save a life out there. When you help us, you save somebody from getting robbed, a crime going on out there. When you help us, a next little child feel happy. Mommy and daddy, oh God, the plate with food, they feel comfortable. Now and then, we have to get bread and water. Don't feel people ain't going through that still, you know. People still going through that. Bread and water because work was hard. This regime will leave us, make the place hard. People ain't know how they was eating another meal. You know, as I always say, when I'm in this program, I believe the Creator and His Son, the Holy Spirit who guide me, have me here I could share my inner feeling to the people who have to control Trinidad and Tobago, so they can feel how it is. Sometimes I coming out, my children telling me, Daddy, where you going? Daddy, stay home. They'll be frightened for me. Reason why they'll be frightened for me, because I like to open up my heart and my mind. I like to talk the truth. It might touch other people, feeling, hey, we're really wrong with him, boy. You know what he's saying? You understand? But I just love to help people. And that is one of my weaknesses in me. And I believe my colleague here, Mr. Lennox Smith, he have that same kind of love in his heart to about people and helping creed, race, anybody. I make certain turn with him and certain little move with him, and you know, the man really have a little love in his heart to about people, you know what I mean? There are people who say all kind of things, but none of them ain't doing that. How much people in Trinidad and Tobago right now taking up this venture and we love taking up? Well, we know PNM do all kind of things. Now, we know that UNC is the ambler of our party. We know that we back in Ms. Kamala Prasad. You know, we just need
of course, we always give way to the phone line. Of course, the lines are open, of course, and we have our first call for the night. Pleasant, let me make sure. Pleasant good night. Welcome, of course, to the corridor.
Good night. Good night.
Yes, good night, Mr. Lennox Smith, and to the gentleman there.
Yes,
good night to you, sir.
Ricky,
Good
yes.
night. Ricky is mine.
Well, I just want to cut across on your subject.
Go ahead.
I know you'll get back to it because I know how you're trying for the people in Laventille and environs. But I hearing something concerning the Vice President of, I go to say Venezuela, Guyana, Mr. Jack Dale.
Yes.
And I find this is an important subject. You see, this is why I want to cut across a little bit.
No problem, no problem.
I want to know if I hear him right. I hear this man say that he ain't giving gas to anybody. Right? I hear that this morning on the ground report. I don't know how true, I ain't see anything. So I am asking you, Mr. Lennox Smith, if you hear anything about the Vice President of Venezuela saying that he's not giving gas to anybody.
Vice President of Guyana. Of Guyana, yes. Yes. He did.
Talk to me.
He did in an interview say that the Guyana has used for their gas. However, he is prepared to talk with, of course, the Trinidad and Tobago government. So let me repeat. He said that to say that he categorically said that he doesn't want, of course, to deal with Trinidad or to provide gas to Trinidad, it will be a misrepresentation of
Oh
what he would have
gosh,
said.
you know,
Yes.
I'm not hearing me on my phone and I can't raise the volume on my television.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, how we can treat with that boy?
Just can my plane. He said he not giving Trinidad and Tobago any gas.
No. He said that he is prepared to talk. He never said that is a one and done. No. He didn't say that. No. All right. So just tell me what you understood what I just said by the gesture. No, he didn't say that. All right.
Lennox, I will listen to you off air.
Okay. Good. Okay.
I will see if I can get back in.
All right, no problem. All right, just in case, of course, off air would mean better reception on the part of that particular caller, I want to say that he said in no uncertain terms that, yes, Venezuela, Guyana has used for their gas, they have plans for their gas, but nothing will stop them from, of course, talking with Trinidad and Tobago, and that means that they probably could work out some arrangement, clearly, because Trinidad will want the gas. They have, of course, um, well-oiled infrastructure to convert the gas into monetary products. And I'm sure that at the end of the day, some kind of relationship will take place. But to say categorically that they're not going to talk to Trinidad, or they have blank Trinidad, in other words, it will be a misrepresentation of what the Jack Dio said, the Vice President of Guyana. All right? And let me add this, that while, of course, I am not privy to the decision and the acting in their own best interests, I'm talking about Guyana, the decision makers across there, but I could see that Guyana will want to talk to Trinidad, not only because of the infrastructure that is here to monetize gas that they would have in abundance and plentiful, but also because it will now be that the new administration can demonstrate that they are a loyal member, and to the members of the CARICOM. Guyana being, of course, a member of CARICOM, even though it is not an island, it is a country in South America, but because of its historical and colonial ties, have associated itself with, of course, the Caribbean, the English-speaking Caribbean at that, and therefore part of CARICOM. So I can see that Guyana will now be much more comfortable, knowing full well that the government, the current government, Kamala Persad-Bissessar and UNC and the coalition of interests, will no longer, because they made it categoric that the Dragon deal is dead. It means that therefore it leaves the country and the leadership very, very, very confident to, of course, lean on the Guyana side without Guyana feeling uncomfortable. You see, under the PNM, under the Rowley and Stuart Young, Guyana, if I am the government of Guyana, I would have been feeling very uncomfortable, knowing that here it is Stuart Young go to Venezuela some 17 times, that they are relying on this Dragon gas and of course border gas arrangement with Venezuela, and therefore it would have taken away the absolute and total commitment and focus of Trinidad on a fellow CARICOM member who has been under verbal and at times physical attack from its stronger, bigger, and a larger army called Venezuela. And therefore, I, as a Guyanese, would wonder whether or not Trinidad and Tobago is really committed to CARICOM and its members, and whether or not that loyalty or commitment is divided, part for Venezuela and part for CARICOM and therefore Guyana. You see, those are some of the diplomatic and the practical and the rational, as well as the what I consider to be the geo CARICOM politics that would have emerged from that scenario. So I could see now that Guyana is very confident that since the statement was made that Trinidad and Tobago is disassociating or decoupling itself from any kind of relationship of that kind, that would of course either impact or affect the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore as a CARICOM member in such circumstance, and having regard to Venezuela's belligerence and bellicose language, warlike language, that they would feel much more comfortable to doing business with Trinidad on a purely what I consider to be CARICOM, one-to-one, friendly, and of course dedicated nature, as opposed to what obtained under Rowley and the Stuart Young. I think I rest my case, because my common sense will tell me now I am not privy to what they will eventually do. So that statement tells me that the door is still open for Guyana to, of course, talk with Trinidad in order to crack or to develop a deal that would, of course, have some of their gas that they have recently discovered come to Trinidad for processing. Go ahead, my friend. I know that you were on a particular topic there.
As we on this topic here
Yeah.
with Guyana, before the CARICOM that form, Trinidad and Tobago always open the arms for people helping out other Caribbean countries, we help out Ghana at times, and Ghana know that in the heart, Trinidad is a good country, and they will open up the arms because we open up the arms, we answer them. We show them love. When people from Ghana come across here, we open up the hand, we show them love. Some of them open business, being successful, we open up the arms to them. So there's a love between we and Ghana. It's just this last regime really trying to mash up all connection we did have throughout the Caribbean. Now, we of Trinidad and Tobago put in Ms. Kamala Pusat and she team so we can build back that love in throughout the Caribbean and CARICOM.
Yeah, but do you think that it could not, let me put it that way, that it could be by accident Kamala Pusat Bisasa made the statement that the dragon deal is dead? Because clearly what she has done, I mean, she's a very sagacious and bright and, of course, very accomplished stateswoman and politician.
Yeah.
Because when I make that statement, I would be saying this: I don't have any relationship with Venezuela, and Guyana could now, of course, feel comfortable, and therefore we could do business. That's how I say. But let's go to the line. Pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor. Pleasant good night, welcome to the corridor.
Good night, Professor Lennox.
Yes, man, good night to you.
Martin inside.
Yes, man, Diego Martin, welcome.
Right. And good night to your host also.
Yes.
Good night.
I know we're talking about Guyana, but I want to put into the public domain
Go ahead.
a situation on the newspaper that I found it to be offensive. There is a political entity by the name of Reginald Vidal
Okay.
suggested that the former Prime Minister, aka the so-called Father of the Nation, his portrait should be hung on all schools. And I found that strategy by the PNM and the gospel of the PNM to be offensive, particularly for, and I'm going to say, quote unquote, the cowshed schools. How can you put the portrait of Eric Williams on or in those schools when he discriminated against those schools, didn't give them the resources to basically help educate that part of the population? So I find it really, really offensive, because you have those students in those schools will look at him and say, look what you have done to me, what you have done to my parents. So I find that PNM strategy is again very, very offensive. And he wants to tell our current Prime Minister to do that. For 10 years, he could have asked Malpin and his partner, KCR, to offer that suggestion, and in that instance, it would also be offensive, because we know the mantra of Eric Williams. The other issue I want to talk about
Go ahead.
is the current state of the police service.
All right.
It is on the verge of total collapse. In May 2023, when there was the fiasco about the abduction of Brent Thomas in Barbados,
Right.
Erla Christopher announced to all of us that she had started an investigation into that. So she was really going to investigate the DCPI and I who handled that situation, and it is presently in the court because somebody wants to zip them out so that we are not privy to who gave her instructions. So she is in a pretty precarious, because I want to see Erla going to investigate her now, because she put a fast one on Erla before Erla could investigate her. She investigated and arrested Erla, and now that is a real catfight in the executive of the TPS. So that is one issue. The third and final issue is the Auditor General report. But more importantly, I want to talk to the central bank. That central bank governor should go immediately. I don't know what he's waiting for. The Auditor General is the supreme auditor for the central bank account and by extension, the accounts of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
And there was an issue in the central bank when they say some check system. And that gentleman prevented the auditor the opportunity to see what was the cause.
Yes.
The fact that he prevented her from going inside there, she could not have signed off on the central bank accounts too.
Yes.
What were they hiding? We will see the outcome of that at the end of May, when the current Prime Minister said there is a lot of information that we will see what was happening with the Trinidad accounts in 2020, 2024. And that will be including of the central bank and its current leadership. They all must go. I go on as this now of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Of course, he raised about the three issues that I think are current. But the last one was about the Auditor General and that development, of course, which is before the court, because of course the Privy Council just gave the Auditor General the all clear to, of course, file for judicial review in the local courts of IBSBERT's the decision to investigate or to organize a committee to investigate the circumstances that led to the Auditor General not only outlining that there was and still is some $2-point-something billion missing in the accounts in the accounts of Trinidad and Tobago. I think it's for the year 2024. That is one aspect of it. And of course, he spoke about the ongoing scenario where recently the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Roger Gaspard, said that there is nothing for Erla Christopher, the former Commissioner of Police, I should say here, have nothing to answer for, whether it be those high-power rifles that they claim she imported and was subjected to an investigation. Because I come into a particular point, I think the caller raised a very important point, and I want to thank Mr. Diego Martin for, of course, raising that issue. So the DPP said that there is no case for her to answer one, and that any matter that may have a semblance of some misbehavior in public office or some criminal act that she may have committed, that there was insufficient evidence for him to pursue the matter to take it to court in order to get a final adjudication there. So therefore she has been of course absolved from any wrongdoing. But he raised a very important point, which of course is that the Deputy Commissioner of Police that initiated that investigation. And what he has said, and I want to really thank him, because what he has said is that Erla Christopher was obligated to investigate that person who investigated her, Christopher, because of the Brent Thomas fiasco, where, of course, the court said that a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago was kidnapped by the police from Barbados. And it appears that in order to save her tail, I'm talking about Suzette, Mr. Suzette, Ms. Suzette, one of the deputy political, sorry, not political, but deputy commissioner of police, in order to save her tail. That is what he suggested, that she decided to have a preemptive strike on Ola Christopher. That is a very, very interesting development. And of course, he started by saying that, of course, the police service has collapsed in terms of its administration, etc. Let's go straight, of course. I thought it would have come on the system, but it's on my handset. Here is it, but let us look at it here. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello.
Just say where you're calling from. A pleasant good night. Pleasant good night.
Yeah, good night. You out there?
Yes, where you calling from?
You out there?
Where you calling from?
Yeah, it's in the yard. I mean, you save the number yet?
Oh, this is a yard. This is a yard he called. This is a yard. All right, okay, people. This is not one that is for this particular program. All right. Yes. So that is the situation as far as the Diego Martin caller is concerned. Yeah.
Well,
but go ahead.
Well,
Hey.
she have a point. The caller have a point where you say the police force is collapsing because it have people doing things
Uh-huh.
behind the leader back without concerning the leader.
Yes.
So
And they try, of course, to set up the leader by a preemptive strike, by damaging, of course, and preventing her from investigating what I consider to be her subordinate.
Well,
trying to get herself or extricate herself out of any focus on her for the Brent Thomas matter, the kidnapping, as the court would say, of a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago from Barbados.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So at the end of the day, the house had whoever coming to really take over the security aspect of Trinidad and Tobago. Rather get a house in order, and because on the street, as we see it on the street, so you know, I mean, it's very frightful. You know, when a police supposed to do certain things, you know, they're doing what they want without doing the right thing.
Yes.
So I think this is a very serious thing, because when people see a lapse in the police force, especially John Public, they naturally move in a drastic way, like they don't care about the police, and they don't care what the police say when the police talk, and they're very arrogant to them because they've seen a lapse inside the belly of the police force. So when they to execute the duty, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago is look at all the wrongdoing and feel, remember this, and let me tell you this. This last regime make laws is unbelievable, you know, for the police force to really manage the police force. You know. The laws they make, where they sit down in parliament and make, these laws are to make over. Anyhow, let me get the caller a chance.
Yes, you got a chance. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the Corridor Transformation. You are live on the program Corridor Transformation. Go ahead. Make your contribution. Hello. All right. Appears that it might be somebody might be a little butterfly.
Yeah.
But,
So
go ahead.
as I said, for the police to do the job, it's hard. it real hard onto the police. And now, for this thing to happen to Ula, it had to be somebody big in either the government or some kind of thing like this to call this kind of drastic move on the commissioner of police.
Yeah. Well, what is clear is that, of course, and Elders has said it, well, strictly speaking, her contract is up on the 14th. So
Yeah.
the 14th, I think, is 2
Died
days
2 days
now.
ago. 2 days ago.
2 days from now,
From
because
now,
today's the 12th.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
That's one aspect of it, but the other aspect of it, that of course you can expect a plethora of lawsuits
Yeah.
coming out for wrongful arrest, embarrassment, etc., etc. You can go on and on. But let's go to the lines. And take this caller. I think this is Mr. Faizabad. A pleasant good night. Welcome. I know you're going to mention, yes, people. I forgot to mention, so I know he's going to reiterate. But let me say, yes, we are targeting 40,000 a night across the globe, and of course we are well on our way. But I'm sure that I will leave it up to him to regurgitate or to, of course, promote same. Go ahead, Mr. Faizabad.
Good night, Miss Uncle Lennox, and to your guests, and
Yes,
to
ma'am.
all your
Good
listeners.
night, good night.
Uncle Lennox,
Yay.
you're taking away my work. I will take away your work, you know.
I thought we'll double it up now. So we work in unison with each other or in cooperation. So don't feel I want to take away your work. I just started to add to it. But go ahead.
No, but you had to ask it, and I had to second it. That's how the democracy does work.
I hear you, my friend.
So,
yes.
So I second the motion, callers and listeners, that we need the 40,000.
Yes,
Come
indeed.
on board and
Yes.
let's go. Tell
Yes.
a friend that Uncle Lennox is here from Saturday to Thursday, right through the week. Yeah, so Uncle Lennox,
Yes.
now, you see this topic tonight will make me put my foot in my mouth and other places where I can reach.
I hear you, my friend. But this is what it's all about. After all, it is the corridor transformation. Go ahead.
Yes, we are about.
That's right. So now, Dylan, I want to touch on the police commissioner,
Yes.
right? Now, if you remember, it had 5 dissidents, right, in the UNC,
Yes.
and they was shaking the intention towards the PNM.
Yes.
And when there was question, they say that they are not of crossing the floor, they are for the party.
Yes.
And they will do good laws and govern this country the way it's supposed to be and pass laws.
Yes.
So I just asking for your friend next door, are you, in the white jersey.
Yes.
I wonder if Christopher Rowley tell himself he would have the mandate of the other 5, that when he set up, he listened to the words good, my friend asked it, just as how he say. So I
Yes.
quoted him. Right? He said, when they set up Ms. Erla to get you out of the office for the 3 months, they will go to Parliament, which they did, to appoint a new police commissioner.
Right.
But the 5 dissidents
Yeah.
didn't get their way because our political leader had hung a carrot over the head
Yeah.
for screening.
Yeah.
And when they needed the majority of the opposition
Uh-huh.
to change the constitution to appoint the commissioner, is it that Rowley didn't get the way? I just asked it for a friend, you know.
But yeah.
Because-
I mean, you are entitled to, this is a democracy.
Right?
And freedom of speech
Because that
is
is
one of the hallmarks of our democracy.
Yeah. So they were hoping that they would get you out temporarily on a charge,
Uh-huh.
and they had a way to open the vacancy for the commissioner post. So I just asked him for a friend.
Yeah.
So, ST9.
I want to tell you that, of course, one of the major beneficiary of that whole exercise, that whole imbroglio, really, would have been, of course, the acting commissioner junior. who of course has said that he is relieved of that that the DPP made the decision that he made to of course exonerate and to discontinue of course the investigation. But he is sitting in the big chair and therefore would have achieved his objective of sitting in the big chair, because I understand he's a Christian, and in many of his sermons he would say that one of his objectives was to be commissioner of police. So has he of course has he achieved his objective, one, and two, was he part and parcel of a conspiracy with Suzette Martin in order of course to treat the sitting commissioner of police Earl Christopher in the way that they did, in order for them now to become, of course, a senior, or should I say, head of the police service. All of those are natural and logical, of course, arguments that one can advance in that scenario. What say you?
Well,
No,
Because
what say you?
I rest my case. I will rest my case, my learned friend,
All right.
because anything I say going forward to that will make me the fool I am. And I don't want you to know. I will open my mouth for you to move all those from me. I will stay quiet on that one, because I know, right? This is what it is like, because they say when it walks like a duck, quack like a duck, it
is
has
a
to
duck.
be a duck.
It has to be a dog.
But I will call back in a little while
All right.
and add on to this same conversation in another direction.
Okay, my friend, thank you very much for that contribution. We have, of course, Mr. Tagarigua on the line as well. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Yeah, good night to you and your guests.
Good night to you as well, my friend. And how is Tagarigua at this time?
You hear me good?
Yes, loud and clear, but I'm asking, how is Tagarigua at this time?
Well, everybody cool and everybody all right?
Everybody all right, I suppose, after the 28th of April.
Hello?
After the 28th of April in particular, I suppose.
What are you going to do?
I hear you, my friend. Go ahead, make your
Everybody
contribution.
keep them quiet now?
Yes, make your contribution.
All right. Now hear this.
Yes.
You would remember Mr. Pandey put things in place.
Yes.
If you're not academically inclined,
Uh-huh.
you could learn a trade, right?
Uh-huh.
Kamla kept it going.
Yes.
Because everybody likes school, right?
Right.
Every house that needs to have an electrician, a plumber, a painter, wherever.
Yes.
The houses have to work for their people.
Okay.
You know, Kamla kept it going.
Right.
Go over there and them come and do Lennox. They close on that.
Yeah. I mean, they were on a path of total destruction and annihilation. Maybe their plan was to, of course, bring Trinidad and Tobago to either a failed state or a true banana republic. But go ahead.
Something like that.
Yes.
So, and when they close down now, they give the youth and their marijuana to smoke.
Yeah, they give use marijuana to smoke. I hear you. Yes.
So
When they
it's
decriminalize, of course, marijuana. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah?
Yeah.
As soon as they start smoking the marijuana,
Yes.
why look now, evening time, some of them need to start to make up the money to share them.
Yes.
To buy the marijuana, because I think it's $25.
Uh-huh.
And I say to us marijuana, Lennox.
Yes, man.
I told you marijuana on whole,
I hear you. So what is your considered conclusion having regard to all of those measures that were taken? Because I mean, the decriminalizing of marijuana was essentially, of course, to try to stop to unclog the system, because they consider these offenses to be very trivial, and therefore a person charged with marijuana could be his life, his future could be destroyed as a consequence of having this charge on his record. So if he goes for a police record, and even though of course is marijuana, and a potential employer, or indeed of course if he wants to go away to get maybe a visa, they may well say, well, listen, you have a criminal record, and therefore you cannot enter, or you cannot of course be employed in this business. That was the objective. How do you balance that against, of course, the fact that any and anybody could smoke or could have in their possession a certain minimum amount of marijuana for their smoking? And I want to add, of course, that you have not put a limitation, as far as I know, with respect, of course, to how people access cigarettes, for example, and or alcohol. For example, children of a certain age cannot, of course, go to a store and simply, or a shop, or a parlor, or a pub, and simply, of course, access alcohol or cigarettes. I don't think they have that kind of limitation. So what is your view overall on what the intent is? Is it that that is a work that is still to be completed, or is it that was deliberate in order, of course, to set up our young people and to, of course, maybe give the police more work? Go ahead.
That was deliberate, you know why?
Yeah.
I managed a drug.
Right.
I mean, realize that.
Okay.
Whole day, them fellas smoking that. You can't smoke that whole day, you know.
You can't smoke that whole day. And that's going to do it whole day.
Right.
I hear you.
That's suffer from marijuana psychosis and all this thing.
Yes.
Well, I'm walking all in the road, I just hear me in the car lighting and driving.
Yeah.
Okay, come and take it up.
So is a work unfinished, and Kamala and they have to, of course, revisit that particular policy. That's all.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do there, but we had to do something.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because all in the schools, it is becoming to be, a very deep concern. Because it impacts, of course, the ability to learn. These are distractions, and of course, are taken away from the attention span, for example, and the learning process. And I understand that there may be markets or little, let's say, opening of little businesses inside of the school compound, because you can't carry a certain minimum amount without attracting the police. Yeah, go ahead.
So what they tell me?
Yeah.
I didn't know the effect of the marijuana we have on the children.
Yeah, I don't think they consider that. They always engage in half-pick doc policies and programs, and when you think that it is designed to, of course, prevent a particular, what I consider a societal problem, it ends up being the converse or the reverse. It makes it worse.
Yeah, fellas went out of the way.
Yeah. All right.
To destroy the youth.
Yeah. All right. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Well, whether the intention was to destroy the youth or not, the fact of the matter is that the outcome is, of course, tending towards that.
Right.
All right. Yeah. All right. We have another caller coming in from the States. All right. Thanks very much. Yes. Thanks very much. Pleasant good night. Welcome, of course, to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor. Where you calling from?
Pleasant good night, Lennox.
Good night. I don't know
how
if
you going, my partner?
I don't know if you're local. I don't know if you're abroad. So where you calling from? Where is your location?
I calling from abroad. Let me say I'm calling from abroad.
All right, I hear you, my friend. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, pleasant good night to you again, and your co-host, I know the Batman and Robin team, so
yes.
I know it is going on, you know.
Yes, right.
So how you guys doing?
Well, fine.
I feel okay.
We are very optimistic. We are very, what I consider to be upbeat. We have set up, of course, the Employment Agency and Resource Center. We have over 200 applicants across the various services that we are now offering, including, of course, that of the employment, as well as, of course, other social welfare services. Of course, we are yet to let's say specifically to get the resources going with a relationship, let's say, with the Ministry of Social Development. I will be meeting tomorrow with one of the ministers of housing, for example, to treat with some of the housing issue. Specifically, of course, I'll be meeting with Philip Alexander tomorrow, and on Wednesday I'll be meeting, of course, with the Minister of Labor. Yeah.
Right. So that is very very productive.
Yeah.
And I think that is good news coming out from in your quarters.
Yes.
And I think that success will be right there. But let me get to the two other questions. One of them being in this on the Ola issue. Now, I mean, Ola has a couple more days again before she retires officially.
Yeah, 2 days, in fact.
But this is the question. We know for a fact that she will be actually suing the state.
Yes, well, yeah,
we know that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that let's move forward from that.
Okay.
Right? So let me see how we can secure the country now.
Okay.
Is the Homeland Security, Minister of Homeland Security now will be putting officers on the main streets, or is he just going to have them just doing a normal patrol? Because I mean again, we had people in the airport getting killed. We have people maybe all over in Port of Spain, in San Fernando, in Tobago, in shopping areas being robbed. So are we going to see a higher presence of these officers? I'm just wondering if that will be a part of this new regime that's coming in, that we could see more presence, at least for the police, during the course of the day, and then have regular patrols at night, so at least when people walk in the streets now, they're seeing them in presence, even the soldiers, and so that is something that we should think about. And yeah, so let's see if we can move forward with that. What do you guys think?
Well, yes, good plan, but two, let me say that we have not been given any kind of direction as yet, because the first public statement, the cabinet met last Thursday, so we have some indication as to the direction of the government and some of the decisions they made, like take for instance, rescinding, of course, property tax, and of course the merit points, etc. So we know that, but of course the Minister of Finance, Dave Tanku, he was supposed to have a press conference where we will have a better idea as to our circumstance as far as the economy is concerned. But in terms of broad and specific statements as far as national security, or in this case, of course, homeland security is concerned, because national security has been divided into homeland security and, of course, and border security. So we have two different ministers, but homeland security have not made any decision. The minister, that is, are talking about, of course, Roger Alexander, and of course he had indicated recently that, of course, he has not yet met with the commissioner, the acting commissioner of police, Junior Benjamin, as yet. So it is early days yet, but certainly I know that what you are referring to as a patriot certainly will have to be considered as we move forward on the question of homeland security in this case. All right?
Yes. That's we just making a suggestion on that.
Yes.
But there's also where they had before, which was the community policing.
Yeah,
I hope that bring back that. So at least that will help, boost the police service, give them some extra eyes and ears on the ground,
yes.
in certain areas,
We have another caller on the handset, so I don't want to rush you, but it's my duty to, of course, to let you know that somebody's holding on.
Yeah. So all right, Lennox. So let me I'll call back next time. Let somebody else get a chance.
Yes, thank you very much. Of course. A pleasant good night. Welcome on the handset. A pleasant good night. And make your contribution, caller.
Good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
I don't know if you remember earlier this morning, I called and mentioned.
Yes, I
something
remember
concerning
this
my pension.
this call. Yeah, this number.
I
Yeah.
had sent the information to you. I WhatsApp the information to you.
All right, you send the information, right? You send the information. All right.
Yes, I did send it on WhatsApp for you.
Okay, I'll have a look at it at the end of the program because we are in the program. Yeah,
And one more
finish it
thing,
at 10 o'clock.
Mr. Lennox.
All right.
One more thing, Mr. Lennox.
Go ahead.
One more thing, sir.
Go ahead.
There's an issue with the noise pollution in my village, in my area here. And I heard the Prime Minister on her election campaign that she said that she was going to deal with the noise pollution.
Right.
So I'm just asking how soon this will be done because the noise pollution is very.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was at a San Juan home only yesterday and a similar issue arose, and of course some recommendations were advanced by the residents there. I don't know if you would have had, or if you would have put pen to paper, so to speak, or put thought on paper, so that we probably could look at that and advance it to the relevant authority, whether it be the EMA or of course the national security apparatus or the departments, or directly to the Prime Minister, and see what can be happen to formulate, of course, a national policy on the whole question of let's say noise pollution, and of course notwithstanding air pollution and the other pollution, including water pollution, that would must be a concern for every citizen if we are to maintain, of course, a quality of life and to have a sustained environment for future generations. All right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened? I spoke to a police officer today, and they said that the EMA have nothing to do with that again. They pass it on to the police officers.
Okay.
But what the officer is telling me that we have to take the people to court, but how many people are you going to take to court at one time? And that is the process.
Right, yeah.
And
So you want something more immediate,
the court process,
and more decisive. Yeah. I agree. So our revisit and our relook should take those shortcomings into consideration, and let's see how things are going to work out.
Yeah.
Right. But keep it on the front burner. Keep that fire lit, and let's see whether or not that voice will fall in the wilderness, or it will, of course, generate some traction.
Okay.
All right?
Okay then.
Okay then, yes. I will take a look at the documents that you
information
sent. Yeah. And call you after the program.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Thank you very much, of course, for calling. That's a new caller, obviously. Yes, indeed. Of course, you were making a point on any one of the topics that we were able to address during the calls, because I mean there are about 3 callers in between there. Since 3 calls away, you didn't have a chance to speak. So, oh boy, that's how it is. This is a typical night. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor. I wonder why, because everybody else seems to be hearing except when you call, and I'm getting a sort of slurred audio from you. Try again. Speak. Nah, getting a kind of echo and a reverberation. So maybe you can call back and see if we get a better communication at that time. Right, good. Go ahead. Let me see. Try again. You're really tenacious, but you really want to make your point tonight. But go ahead. No, we are not getting you. So call back, caller. Let me just take this one. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor.
Yes, pleasant good night, pleasant good night. First, I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate all UN. I want to see happy yellow. Listen to me. My concern.
You're still having difficulty, my friend.
Hello.
Well, go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller on the handset. Go ahead.
Yes, my concern is simply this.
Yes.
The Venezuelans in the country have what you call communities lower down, deep south, where they go and come. When is our national security, or if our national security is aware of these communities and deal with it, because this is part of the crime curbing in this society. I would like to see something done in terms of the removal of all these communities, these Venezuelan communities in South. There are lots of communities in the forest where Trini can't walk to go and hunt, Trini can't walk to go and do nothing in the bush at all, because they control that area.
Wow. Are you from that side? Irene, Ikakas, and so on?
Well, I have family down there.
Oh, you have family
down there, and I heard a lot of sad stories.
Okay. Well, as you know, the Ministry of National Security has been divided into Homeland Security and, of course, border security. So I would think that persons from border security, and we probably will have these ministers be interviewed on the program, from time to time to see what the policies are. But I'm sure that that would have reached their ears.
This is a serious national security concern, eh?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
All right, thanks very much. Yes. Thank you. Boy, people are concerned, boy. Yeah. And the only problem is that it appears that they want to ready done, ready made, instantaneous, like some of the coffee and the cocoa that we have in some of these cafeterias and so on. But whether or not that is humanly possible, I think it is wholly impragmatic. But go ahead, my friend. Let me hear some of the issues that you want to raise.
A caller call and say they wonder where Homeland Security answer.
Let's see what's happening here. Yes, indeed. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. This is, of course, the corridor transformation. Welcome.
Good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night. Speak a little louder because I could only get you the answer.
From Penal.
Penal? Okay, go ahead, Penal.
Yes, and my problem is I'm not getting you on the television.
Oh, you're not? No, you won't get me on television. You'll get me on YouTube. YouTube?
On YouTube, yes, I'm on YouTube.
All right, okay. Well, all you have to log into is the transformation. Don't do Lennox Smith and all that. Just the transformation, and you should get. Maybe you might see something.
I log into the corridor transformation.
Okay, and nothing?
Nothing is over. Since before the election, I call you.
Okay, yeah, what to do? Do it. Reboot, and do it now. Right, the corridor transformation, and do it now on YouTube. On Facebook, however, you log on to Alfred John, simply Alfred John, and you should get us there right now. So do it first and give us a feedback.
Alfred John?
Yeah, Alfred John on Facebook.
Okay, on Facebook?
Yes. All right?
Okay, all right.
And give us a feedback if you don't mind. We will really appreciate that. Because we cannot stretch our hands, and it's not like next door. It's quite penal you are, so I don't want to. I don't want to come down penal to take a pee. But,
okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay then. Yes. Thank you very much. All right. So that's a caller from penal.
As I said just
go ahead, my friend.
The person who controlling Homeland Security. I believe you do a good job.
All right, let's go back here to Pfizer. That's how it is sometimes. It's 40,000 we're looking for, so
Good day
you
again.
expect the frequency. Go ahead, my friend. Pleasant good night, once again.
Pleasant good night.
You hear me now?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
What detail go down? Somebody plug my phone now.
Hey, it's you or you call back on a different phone? All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Yes, yes. But
Yeah.
that's the phone you have to use.
I
That's
see
the phone you have to use.
I see I carry myself in the back there.
Yeah.
Right?
I should
He
expose this
complaining
neophyte.
about being in opposition.
Mr. Tagariga, just hold on. We have another caller on the system line. Yes. Okay.
Right. He complaining
go
about being in opposition.
Yeah.
To getting back to the government, but you have 5 years to wait now.
He wants from Laventille West to take PNM into government. You see, that is, of course, a very acute case of illusion and delusion.
Yeah, fairy tale.
Yeah, go ahead, my friend.
Right, but you have 5 years to wait. Me, you know, he trying to.
Well, first and
he
foremost,
trying
you
to
have
rally
5
the
years to wait.
government.
That's right. First and foremost.
He talking a pack of foolishness about youth conscious and youth thing. Let he rally the youth in the area. I want to see him do that. What you want the government to rally all the youth in the country?
And what you think about the fact that he will talk about, of course, the Belize and its resilience or its longevity without, of course, uttering one policy, how he's going to deal with young people at that particular, what I consider to be motivation or trying to have people hold on to faith. You think that could last? I know in Laventille, talk is very cheap, and they're going to hold on to that for the moment. But I doubt that they're going to hold on to that for 5 years. Go ahead, my friend. Let me hear you.
Yeah, well, if the people want to buy into that foolish narrative, they have to make Laventille, East and West a marginal seat, you know. They have to take that business a marginal seat again here.
Yeah,
because how it is there now, anybody besides the PNM will use them as a vote bank. That is all they're there for, and they get nothing. Show them a few crumbs every now and then, every 5 years, and that is it for them.
Yeah, and
People have to see the value of their vote.
Yeah. And what he
And
did
until
there,
they do that,
and what he did there is talk vote bank language. The PNM is like the Belize, and when you dig it up, you go get back roots and so on. That's vote bank language. Laventille has gone past that so much, so long ago that he as a young man, he realized that. I mean, that is pathetic.
I believe he has followers, and he tried to excite.
you might see it in your lifetime, you know. Those areas going to switch soon, you know. Sooner than later, because remember, all them old folks there who used to have the children voting for PNM, them gone to the grave.
Yeah.
So the PNM to the dead mentality gone with them. But the youths now ain't go following that line, and in the future to come, those two areas, East and West, going to switch. I tell you so, the country going to get fed up with that PNM, and they're going to switch. And they're going to see the change for itself. In your lifetime, you're going to see that, Lennox. Wait and see. Anyway, have a good night, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, of course, my friend. And that is a reality. I am of that view as well. Go ahead.
I remember a long time, our parents used to say, if you ain't going to vote for PNM, don't come in my house. That was the kind of whiplash they used to be.
Yeah, they put you out.
Yeah, they put you out. Yeah, sir. But some of them dying out, and it's a new generation now.
Yeah, and the caller is correct because, of course, when one looks at the last result. Oh, sorry about that, Mr. Tagariga. Sorry about that. The last result in Laventille West is 3,000 versus 5,000 for the PNM. So it just goes to show that there is a trend of marginalization of these constituencies. But go ahead, Mr. Tagariga. Sorry about that.
Right. Well, I want to make 2 points here.
Go ahead.
The caller from abroad who called and talk about, or somebody talk about noise pollution.
Yes.
The Prime Minister said she suffered the indignity of that because they had a power or something right by Chile when she was in opposition.
Yes.
Making noise. And she said that she said that happened again. All bars and things were close to people who might cause a problem. Licenses are not going to be renewed.
Right.
You say that? No, imagine if she passed by me, then I don't want to say nothing. You know the situation by me, right? You know the situation by me with the biology.
Right.
So when she passed here, that go on, I do have to do that. But let me tell you what I want to really tell you. You see all the people who stay in office and say they ain't coming out?
Uh-huh.
The offices are managed with the Richmond Street.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to put all the ministers there. I don't know what space they have.
Right.
You can put them there and let them stay inside there and do what they want.
Well, yeah. You have already made a suggestion how to deal with that. It is called no, it's not that. That's not the right too. There's a term called sinecure, where of course office would pay, but no work. But in this case, it's the reverse.
Yes.
they will have the office. They will have the office, but with no pay.
That's right.
I hear you. Yes, until of course they frustrate themselves by way of attrition and get and disappear.
That's right. You don't beg nobody. You're there, right?
Yeah, leave them there, but they have no paycheck to get. Yes.
That's right. I'm using the offices for money bill, which is one of the main reasons they try to get rid of money.
That's right.
Everybody they want people to rent. This one and that one.
Yeah. Well, I too will advise the present government to utilize unoccupied space at the government plaza because that we are still paying for that since under Manning, when of course he had the Chogam and the other the conference of the Americas here when Obama came and of course Castro came. I think no. The then president of Venezuela came, and there was this should I say unwritten or abstract enmity. But of course, everything passed well at the Hyatt at that point in time. Yeah. Chavez, yes, Chavez. That's right. Hugo Chavez. Yes, was the president of that.
Ring roses inside the building if they want to move.
Yeah.
But they ain't getting no salary.
Okay.
Right? And they cannot use up all government space available to them.
Yeah, I think they should utilize all the spaces in at the government plaza there and move out from Al Rari and of course all the other PNM real estate elements designed to get government contracts to occupy their buildings. Yeah. All right, let me go to the line. Okay then. Yes. Go ahead, caller.
Good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night,
Mr. Lennox.
Yes, good night.
And good night to everybody else on the line.
Yes.
On the live.
Yes.
Mr. Lennox, listen now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. During the course of some time last time, I mentioned it on one or two occasions. Listen, you see them Venezuelans and them, we have down in the south coast down there, in the south down there,
right.
They are becoming a cancer to our society, and if we don't do something about these people, listen, it's going to be trouble for us here in this country, We have to rouse up these people and deal with them in a serious way, because them creating real problems for our country, right? Right now it's very subtle. And they're doing it in a subtle manner. I just hear a caller call and talk about them just now. But people in this country, by and large, don't know what is really going on in this country, with these people and them, And we have to do something about these people, and we have to do it quick, or otherwise it's going to be trouble for us, Mr. Lennox. So good night. Have a blessed night. God bless everybody, and God bless you, Mr. Lennox.
Yes, thank you very much,
Okay.
of course, for your intervention and your very sagacious intervention, sagacious intervention, I should say. Yes, indeed. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, well, now, as you hear the callers and them calling for Homeland Security and whoever in charge to see about certain problem in the country. So it's not really, you're hearing it from the horses in their mouth. It's a cancer, it's a plague, and it's hambugging the normal citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, we under the PNM government, they bring this cancer upon us. You know, and they make it come in abundant.
Yes.
And right now we are to solve it.
Yes, well, let's go to Elijah. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Pleasant good night again, Lennox.
Yes,
Lennox,
good night.
I
Yes.
have a suggestion.
Go
I have a suggestion concerning the stand your ground laws.
Go ahead.
No, everyone is trying to see if they could get their FUL, right?
Right.
Now, some people will qualify, citizens, and some won't.
Right.
But the ones I'm referring to here now is the one who won't
Right.
qualify. What about if they get a less lethal weapon? Maybe a taser, like the gun taser, like what those foreign police officers use. It's like a gun, but it does have so some kind of, some kind of deterrent. At least they'll have that option.
Right.
Of getting, they may falter in something, so they can't have the real thing, but they will still have some kind of, some kind of security with them. I mean, a fighting chance.
All right.
But remember, as you say, they have to go through the whole process in order to receive a firearm. But with their faulting up in a smaller way, you might be able to get something else less thing. So our list not fair.
Yeah.
So let me see if we could, analyze that and if that could work or not. All right?
Because right away, if the person couldn't qualify for FUL, firearms users license, and they cannot qualify as well for a teaser, what happens? I just making the point that that person may not be able to qualify at all for any one of them, because the qualification mechanism that you have to put in place. You have people who run about with teaser guns all over the place. One, but the other thing is that I think on the other hand, I take note of what you said, because you could put that in the same category probably of that of a pepper spray, but which of course is a more convenient, let's say, deterrent, if you want to call that, in case of attack for women. And in particular, I think the present Prime Minister, she being a woman, had expressed that, but I sense that it was more in the context of having sympathy for women and their defenseless disposition in more cases than none, and therefore at least that would provide at least some measure of a defense for women in particular. So I thought it was something to look at. I know that people will come up maybe with other means. I don't think that you need a license to carry a piece of wood looking like a baton and so on. I don't think you have license to carry maybe a penknife in your bag. Of course, if it is that you are held with it, you will have to say exactly why is it there, if it is deemed by the investigative officer to be a weapon. But of course, I suppose peeling to peel an orange would be an appropriate excuse. I'm just being, of course, devil's advocate here in terms of course, all of these measures. But at the end of the day, if an assailant really wants, of course, to act, they will, especially if they are extremely focused and desperate enough. And so there is really no total foolproof safeguard, except of course you use those that are available to us that are being proposed, and let's hope that it reduces that level of belligerence, that level of tenacity, that level of insistence by would-be assailants that they are going to do the harm that they intend whether you are in possession of any one of these items. That's my devil's advocate disposition. I am not either here or there, or nay or yea on these matters. I prefer it, of course, to be one of consensus and, of course, finding itself in legislation by, of course, the current administrators of our affairs in this country and decision making. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, my leader, I can't get vexed with what he say because I respect his views about what. But caller, when them people are attacking you, it's coming 3s and 4s, and they're coming at your children, they're coming at your home. They feel a laser or a pepper spray could stop them. It can't. It can't. The raping the children, the robbing you, the beating you, the killing you. Now, as my leader said, Kamala Prasad, now if a business owner or a person who go to the right channel and can get that firearm license to protect the family, especially businesses, you understand, is to save the life, to save the family life. Because sometimes you call the protective services, but I don't want to say it, but it just come like this.
Lean on this side.
When they call the protective services, right, sometimes it ends up to nothing. Next thing you hear, the case, they don't have no case. The people are out free. You must, but if you hold them, it's hard. So sometimes I believe it's good to have the license to protect your business and your family and them. And I sided with my leader. And the next thing I speaking about, if Homeland Security, the man who in charge of that, I believe he can do his job. I don't want to say nothing until he put his foot down. I believe he'll do a good job. Land and sea, yes, I believe he'll do a good job. And to his ability, knowing him as an officer and then have all that power, he was on top of his game, and now he have enough power. He's supposed to be 100 times on top of his game to make sure that a safe place. Now the next thing, the people in them who get problem with the immigrants and them, is that part of Homeland Security. You gotta be on top of your game. It's time for we to really wipe our slate clean. Now, some will say, some will not, because our policy and our thing as the past regime do. So some might say, some might not. But it's to really wipe we slate clean. So I believe when everybody sit down in office and get their act together, it's to come out and work Homeland Security the full force.
Yes, indeed. Well, people, of course, we have come to the end of tonight's exercise. There's 1 minute past the 10 o'clock. You know, time just expires when you are having a good time, or that the information is so intellectually stimulating that, of course, time is of no consequence. But the fact of the matter is that we have reached to the end of tonight's program. For, of course, clarity, one, and for regurgitation and for memory purposes, I will, of course, play Marcel's naive, of course, what I consider to be nonsensical irrelevance, but of course, attempting, of course, to maybe project an image that simply does not exist, and that is to say, the PNM, of course, he forget to say, it's 5 years he's talking about heads, and of course, from Laventille West, somehow he could achieve the impossible by, of course, bringing the PNM into office through only Laventille West, one of only 13 constituencies that the PNM was able, of course, to muster. We know that Tobago has left the PNM, and we know, of course, that the UNC, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and the coalition have made tremendous gains so that and when one looks at it, and in the best of times, the PNM was only able in recent iterations of elections to get only 23 seats. We know that their cuckoo is cooked, their asses are grasses, and that they must be, of course, between now and the next election to be relegated to the dustbin of history. Is he, of course, prognosticating the obituary of the PNM? We will wait and see. But let's look at him as he tries, of course, to generate some kind of relevance.
But and trust me when I say my family and team community brothers and sisters that will like the balance. No matter how they we might take enough, we might try to take enough people. Some of us might want to say, but I want to say here proud as the youngest member of parliament going to parliament comes soon. I want to say here tonight from Laventille West that Laventille West will carry it back to government. Laventille West will be and I want to say but I'm trusting when I say my family and team that will like the balance, no matter how they go. We might take enough, we might try to take enough people. Some of us might want to say, but I want to say here proud as the youngest member of party. But I'm trusting when I say my family and team that will like the balance.
Of course, people, once again, I am very disturbed that, of course, he has not leveled one policy. What he'll do for young people, what he'll do for the malaise and the deteriorating infrastructure and the poor, not just work ethics, I wouldn't say work ethics, that may not be his area, but certainly the level of unemployment there, and of course, youth activities as far as gangs are concerned, and of course breaking down the borderline. Not one. I mean, that is an exercise in what I consider to be consummate futility. And so of course, but let him of course wallow in his ignorance and his, of course, neophytism. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless, of course, and see you tomorrow night. And don't forget, of course, tomorrow morning, the ground report, Andy, Mike, and myself, as we continue with these and more. Maybe he could have said, like Stalin, he fell into party instead of course, telling the people of Laventille that level of hogwash. And you notice that some of them were just ingratiating. They just maybe sprayed a coke, the fizz in it, a coke, and they just sprayed on him. Not champagne, people don't believe in champagne. No. He will get a coke or some soda water or some other kind of soft drink, some soda pop. That's what he would get. I mean, at the same time, you could say they were disrespecting him, they were dismissing him, they were saying they're talking nonsense, even though they were there, of course, saying Ray. Yes, maybe I feel like the party might be a more appropriate explanation or a more appropriate characterization of that wishful thought. Yes, indeed. has to be make a joke. The joker. Yes, indeed. So people, once again, of course, we will see tomorrow night. Yes.
Stop all housework you're doing. Tonight we going and have some fun. I just feel it to party the way we used to when we was young. Just put on something sexy so you'll be free to move around. Make sure the children okay. We ain't coming home until morning come. Tonight the black man feeling the party.